Hi, I'm Daphne Oz. I was so looking forward to being a part of the Mayor's Wellness campaign, and unfortunately at the last minute had a really special opportunity to come up to be part of a food show in its pilot production phase right now, and sadly can't be there with you in Atlantic City, but I'm here to talk to you a little bit about Health Corps. The story begins back in 2003 when my father, Dr. Mehmet Oz, came to my high school and gave a talk to my graduating class about their bodies and about what they could do to be advocates for their health. And in that 1-hour auditorium speech, he changed the life of 110 graduating seniors, because what they did was they went home and they shared this information with their parents. And the next day at his office at Columbia Presbyterian, my dad was getting phone calls from the parents of my classmates saying, wow, eating a Snicker bar is like eating a piece of white bread is like eating a Snicker bar, or drinking a glass of orange juice, I might as well have a piece of candy because it's that much sugar in it. These were things that the parents of educated high school seniors had never heard for themselves, nor had the students actually. So it was just this life-changing moment. And my dad and I got thinking at that point, what would happen if we really took that basic principle of healthy nutrition, making it accessible to a young generation, and put it on a broad national level? That's where Health Corps began. My mom, my dad, and I put together this idea for a core of high school or college graduates who would come together and act as educators for their generations. They would go into high schools, they would teach kids at a young age when they're still impressionable, when they can really take new advice and put it into action easily, and they would be the teachers of a generation of healthy Americans who could start to reverse this tide of obesity we're seeing, with 35% of our nation qualified as obese and another 30% on top of that as overweight. And Health Corps, this was back in 2003, and now it's 2010, 7 years later, under the expert leadership of our president, Michelle Bouchard, and her wonderful team. I know Amy Barone is there with you today. Hi, Amy. Has grown into 41 states, 41 schools. We're in 9 states. We're making strides, and it's really become part of, I think, a national fabric of young, educated consumers who are making the right choices, who are able to be influencers for their communities and for their families. Now, also as a result of this 2003 epiphany that we had, where we started to feel that it was really up to teenagers and young adults to be the catalyst for change in this country, I decided to write a book called The Dorm Room Diet, which I have for you here to see. And I've actually signed 250 copies of these, and they're on their way to you as we speak, so I hope you have a chance to look through it. And what this book is a bit about my experience. You know, I grew up very overweight, and this was in a family that was medically based. I mean, I had all the information at my fingertips that I could possibly have needed to get healthy. And it wasn't a matter of the information. It was a matter of the emotional connection I had to food. For me, food was love. Food was family. I would come home after school, and we would sit around the kitchen table and chat. And that became a crutch for me to have that food after school, to have that bonding experience with my family. And it wasn't until I got to college and realized what a unique experience it was, and realized that it really would mark the beginning of my adult life, and that I wanted my adult life to be one where health was a focus, and being a healthy person was the way I could be my optimum self and make my optimum contributions to society, that I really began to make changes to make sure that I was going to lose the weight, keep it off for good, and not resort to any unhealthy fad diets. And the dorm room diet came about as a process of my 4 years at school and learning, well, hey, I want to love these 4 years. I want them to be the best possible experience, but I also want to make sure that I'm taking time to prioritize my health. And I ended up losing about 35 pounds over the course of my 4 years. And I took time to write this book to share that advice and the simple tips and tricks I thought my peer group could use to make sure that their college experience was both an enjoyable, fun time, but also one where health became their focus. Again, with this idea that if we educate a young population who still has time to form their lifetime habits, who's to say we can't completely reverse the tide of obesity in this country? Who's to say we can't start to create a food system that really makes the healthy choice an easy one? Now, going back to Health Corps a little bit, I want to talk to you a bit about Health Corps' involvement with the Mayor's Wellness Campaign and about what Health Corps is looking to do in general. For those of you who aren't familiar with the program itself, as I mentioned, it's taught by college graduates who are taking a brief interim between entering medical school or a graduate degree in the health sciences to become teachers for 2 years in a designated high school. On average, they teach 10 classes a week. Each program is centered around giving students not only a capacity to cope with stress and to deal with the emotional pressures that they have to eat unhealthy foods, but also to become advocates for healthy change in their own communities and within their families. Health Corps has three main goals, the first of which is to educate the student body. And what that means is giving students not only the tips and tools they need to make educated choices about their food, so that's basic nutrition information, that's also the expertise to know when they go into the store and read nutrition labels, what do sugar grams mean, what do carbohydrates mean, what does the calorie count mean, what do I need to be paying attention to. And believe it, those kids will take that information, it'll stick in their brains, and the next time they go shopping with their parents, they'll say, wait, Mom, I don't want to buy that high fructose corn syrup apple juice. I want to buy this all natural one. Or I want to look and go into the produce section. I want to look for some more greenery and some more color and less of the artificial color in my life. You're also looking at creating fit towns, and this is something Michelle Bouchard and her team have really spearheaded. It's part of our initiative to get the communities involved. And what it is fairgrounds that we set up in every Health Corps students area to make it so that the parents themselves can come in and educate themselves and be a part of the programming and understand, why are my kids coming home with all this information? Where can I start to learn about it? And finally, it's that broader outreach level on the national and state level of looking towards policy changes and towards a government standard of health that can create healthy choices and can make healthy choices the easiest ones for Americans to make, as opposed to the hard decisions. I want to talk about quickly something very fun we're doing at Health Corps, which is the Teen Battle Chef Cooking Competition. And this is something, again, Michelle Bouchard and her team have spearheaded and really made a part of the core curriculum. It's a fun, educational setting in which students compete to create their healthy recipes that they bring from home, that they have professional chefs come to teach them. And it's a way that we really get students feeling like they're enfranchised, like they're a part of the process at home. They make the food choices, they go shopping with their parents, and slowly but surely they're making changes in their communities. Now, I'd like to take a moment to thank our wonderful sponsors and our wonderful friends and proud supporters there with you today. And I hope you all have a chance to go and shake their hands, because they are really responsible for making this program as special as it's been. Again, Amy's there, so please go check her out. I'd also like to thank Beth Milton, Frank Matozzi, and Perry Neron in the Office of Nutrition and Fitness at the NJ Department of Health and Senior Services. They've been wonderful and have held our hand throughout this process and really made it as powerful as it can be. Emily Littman is the director of the Mayor's Wellness Campaign, so you should all say and know who she is, and is also the director of research and programs at the New Jersey Healthcare Quality Institute, and again has been a major influencer in this program. Joy Seco of the New Jersey Healthcare Quality Institute and Mayor's Wellness Campaign, who's been wonderful and has been so helpful for me. Thank you so much for allowing me to make this presentation for you all. And of course, Mayor Cory Booker of Newark, New Jersey. We all know how wonderful he's been, and Governor Chris Christie, again, a huge supporter and advocate of making sure our teenagers and our youth have a healthy America to look forward to as we grow older. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the conference, and I will look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.